Hello everyone, welcome back to the KMTRADERS channel. So this is the full market analysis volume 55. Again, we'll be taking a look in the market. We're going to review last week and we're also going to give you some of our insights for the up and coming week. So we're actually going to be looking at gold for tomorrow. We're going to talk about that individually, but for now we're going to take a look at Euro USD and work our way down to USD Cad. So what we have saw this week was a price to fail to push any higher. We spoke about price potentially pushing higher from this point in the market here, but as we can see, price failed to do so, and now we had that price push just a bit lower. So I was still keen on watching for a slight retracement. So we were waiting for price to come into this area here. This is why we have this box drawn. But now I am convinced that we're still capable of pushing a lot higher. Essentially, we need some sort of retracement, and like with all trends in the way it works, it needs to have some sort of retracement in order for it to be healthy. Okay, so like we can see here, this is a very clear bearish momentum right now. So if we go ahead and move this level for now, we can see that price is slowly stepping up. So essentially what we're going to anticipate for this week is basically a push towards the upside to potentially come into 1.19 or some area like this within this range, and as long as price stays below this level, so 1.2, I will be confident to take a sell. So we do have all the other fundamentals to check out, but again, this will this is gonna that you could do your own research through that, and take a look at the news that comes out as time progresses. And in terms of targets, once we get the sell-off, we could be looking into 1.6, which nicely ties into this range area bound here. So we could look into this range box here, but again, this is just a level that we could anticipate price to come into. But for now, I just want to focus on a selling position, and that's the main focus for this week again. So again, you can trade the upside move, but the main bigger move is this selling opportunity here. So if we were to take from where we've marked out to this low here, it'd be about just under 200, and if we manage to get to our profit level, it's about just under 300 pips. So again, something just to keep an eye out. So moving on to Nzd Usd. So as you can see, price is stepping up. Again, we are waiting for price to fulfill some sort of retracement, because as we can see here, we've had the last 2 weeks this strong sell-off momentum. So it's clear that we are in a bearish pressure market, and ideally we're just looking for that higher time frame sell opportunity. So again, what we could be looking out for is price to return into this area. Whether the price starts to immediately push higher or if we get a little retracement, that's totally up to the market. And again, if you do want to trade the counter trend move, but again, pushing higher into this range and potentially targeting 0.71. And then we're going to be looking out for any potential moves, to find any sort of rejection. Now, in terms of our level of invalidation, because I don't think we actually covered it for this week, I'm actually going to use this zone here. Again, just nicely using all of these levels in the market as a nice resistance, and I'm sure we can see price extend a lot further, but for now I'm comfortable with this amount of rejection to use this zone as an invalidation. So as long as price stays below 0.725, we should be able to see that continuation push lower, and ideally I'm looking to anticipate price to come into 0.69. And we can expect to see that if we can get this retracement towards the upside. So again, we're going to be following on some sort of eventual selling condition. So taking a look at Aed Usd, now I've got 2 minds for this pair. Again, I'm going to give you both. Usually I don't have 2 minds, but it's better to share some insight of what I'm thinking right now for this pair. So we are looking at a potential sell-off for the time being, and I have a critical low here, or critical lower high rather. So if price stays below this low of the market, I'll be convinced that we're capable of pushing lower. And we could look at 0.74 as a zone to see price reject. But the other scenario is that if price fails to if price manages to push higher than this, then we could expect price to have some sort of progression move like this and then have that sell off. So the main thing that you can take away from this for this pair is that the ultimate move is to sell. So whether if you take a few losses here but then win over here, then it all works out. And of course, if we still see price moving lower, then it will work out for us. So the higher time frame critical lower high is this zone here, so 0.785. As long as price stays below this, we should be confident to push lower. So I'm still holding my guns towards that. So we could start to potentially either see some sort of retracement up and then a push lower, which is something that we are considering, but also that if price is still not able to push higher than this, we could potentially push lower from that. So there's two places from that, but the main bias is a selling position. So whether it happens below this lower high, or if it comes up into this range bound here within this area, then that's two things. So yeah, it's pretty much what you kind of need to look out for that. So maybe if you're not if you really just want to focus on the definite ones, I would probably just wait on that one for a retest maybe. So yeah, it's totally up to you how you want to play that. So looking at UJ, so yeah, we can see prices slowly stepping up, and as it is doing so, we can see that it's creating some nice momentum towards the upside. Again, I am still waiting for price to give us some sort of corrective move or some sort of correction in play. So whether that we find some sort of turning point here, that's totally up to the market, but something that we could be looking at is a potential move towards the upside before sell. Again, I'm not going to draw the other scenario, but if price does manage to start selling off from here, we could start to see price push lower. I don't really know if we could come to this retest level now because it is quite far, but I am looking at this zone here now. So if we start to look at 107 as a potential take profit level, that's something that we could consider. The reason why I'm not thinking that price could make a drop off now is because if we take a look at the RSI, even though we do have some sort of divergence here connecting this peak to this peak here, still this slightly leveling off, we could have a potential push higher from this market, and then we could have that immediate drop off. So again, it's something that I'm taking cautious, and I'm not looking to enter it right at the top. I would be looking to wait for some clear structure moves and potential retest plays on this pair, because as we can see, we're going to be essentially trying to sell the top of the trend, which is absolutely massive right now. So yeah, we can obviously just stay patient with this pair and see what happens in the next few weeks or so. So again, that's just personally my plan, but of course you can definitely be aggressive as much as you'd like to do so. So yeah, let's take a look at Cad Jpy. So we can see price is still stepping up, and I did think that price would be able to turn over. Again, we didn't manage to find any entries here, so we didn't lose anything here. So we saw price invalidating our level, and we can see price stepping up nice and slowly. So if we do now take the RSI for some sort of indicator, we can see that there is a potential divergence forming on a high time frame perspective. So this area is obviously lower than this area, so you can see that. But yeah, we can see that there is a clear lack of momentum. So what we could be looking at for this week, as we can see, we're punching into our zone at 89 flat. So we could be looking for price moves towards the upside and then that turnover to the downside. Again, it's up to the market if price starts to drop off immediately. Again, that's up to you guys to understand that if you do see that big drop in the market, when to anticipate. And that obviously comes down to experience and intuition. But obviously, don't give up, keep going, and you'll definitely get there. I'm sure of it. So yeah, we can see that price is stepping up. It's broken our critical high. We can see now we've got a new lower high. Lower high here. And we can see price pushing up. And again, tying this in with the divergence of the RSI, we should be able to see a turnover, and it's nicely coming into our zone. So whether if price pushes above this zone, it's nothing too major. This is just a zone where we want to see a form of reaction. It's not exactly definite that you should trade off that level. So that's just a bit of a clarification level. So what we could be looking to target is 86 flat or to 84. So somewhere that we can be looking to target. Again, these levels are pre-drawn and respected elsewhere. So if you go back in history, you'll see these two levels being hit multiple times. Again, it's a very key point in the market, so that's why we got them drawn. So take a look into EJ. Again, this pair has been slowly stepping up from last week. So again, we was right to not take any sort of participation into this market until we start to see something. But what we're essentially looking out for is price to make a turnaround and fall towards the downside. So like we've got drawn here. I'm actually going to get rid of this because I just want to focus on the the essential move for this week. So rather than explaining everything in advance, it sometimes doesn't really work out. So it's better to look at the first move first. So this is what I'm looking out for this up and coming week. Pretty much, as long as price stays below this level. So essentially 130.5, we should be able to push lower. And again, this is if price stays below this level, then I will be looking for some sells. Hopefully we can get in on this. I do believe that we may have missed this, may have missed the sell-off opportunity, but again, we can always catch the retracement or a retest on the as price pushes lower. So from here to here is 200 pips, and from the zone and take profit level it's just under 300. So again, there's a lot of profits up for grabs here. And again, we can take a look into how price plays out in the up and coming week. So taking a look at Nzd Jpy. So what we're looking out for in this pair again is this sell-off opportunity still. Ideally, I want to find some sort of turnaround. Whether the price comes towards retesting this uptrend, then so be it. But we could see price start to make a push towards the upside and then push lower. I feel like this has now been invalidated, so I should get rid of this. Ideally, I want to be targeting at this zone here. So 75.5 to 75.4. So this range should be a bit big actually. So let me just adjust that. So this key level, we should be able to see price target this level in the market. So this one should be a big drop to watch, but from the where current price is to this zone is about 250 pips. So essentially, yeah, we're pretty much waiting for this turnaround in market, and it was quite interesting to watch how price started to or how it had continued to push higher and higher. Again, anticipating price to push lower still, but it has recovered this huge drop off in the market. So again, it's all about staying patient with this pair and not trying to bite the bullet. Yeah. Okay, so taking a look at AJ again with this pair. So what we're looking out for is again a selling opportunity. We can see prices sort of struggling to push higher. we can see a double top being formed. Plus that we can see, you know, there's a you know, EMA is slowly pushing and rejecting off of this. So all we need to do is just watch price action drop lower, potential, you know, retest off of the EMA. Again, that's just one varying factor that you can use, but again, you just have to wait and see for price to drop off here, because we are looking to target 82. So if I just draw that out, so a nice level in the market here that I can see, and you know, price could attract to this level. So that's really my first anticipation that we can go towards. I'm seeing price, you know, really respect the downside opportunity due to this strength in the market. Again, this is a very strong momentum towards the downside. So this is why, as long as price stays below this level in the market, so 85.5, we should be able to see some definite moves towards the downside. And again, it's all about catching that move and at the perfect time. And again, that's totally up to you know, the market. So again, that's why you have to wait. So from where current price is to the targeted area, it's just over 200 pips. So again, nice reward, and I think, you know, we can grab some pips out of this move if it is able to fall towards the downside. So yeah, so we'll take a look now at the last two pairs for this week. USD Chef. So what we are looking out for is this shift in momentum towards the downside. So we spoke about this last week. However, on 1st of April, I was looking out for this pair to kind of drop, and I think we may have missed this. But nonetheless, we can always look for, you know, the retest. But what we could be looking out for is, again, just for price to fall towards the downside. So whether the price starts to continue to fall lower, or if price starts to, you know, push higher and then make that move to the downside, that's something that you need to be mindful of. Again, that's just what usually happens. I'm not saying it always happens, but you know, on market open, on the market weekly opens, you can start to see, you know, get some price to, you know, get some bullish activity or bearish activity, depending on where the pro trend is. You can really get price to really manipulate, you know, the current trend, or, you know, from any pending orders from the following the past week. But that's something, again, that I've noticed in the market. But again, you don't really need to understand that process, but all you need to do, again, is just fixate yourself on what's happening on the charts in the time that you're awake. So what we could be looking at is, you know, a potential price point to you know, make either a drop off straight away into the up and coming week, or we could have price to eventually make its way towards the upside. So whether we get price to drop down and then up, or if we get price to drop up and then drop down, that's something just to be mindful of. And the other thing as well is we can see that there is a divergence forming here, so that's why we can tie this in, that, you know, momentum is potentially flipping over, and that there is a potential move to the downside. So that's something that you could participate and you know, prepare yourself for in the market. So taking a look at our last pair for this week is USD Cad. So yeah, what we were looking at from last week was a downside move. Now that we can see that price had made that move towards the downside from last week, we could potentially start to now use, you know, use this switch in momentum to potentially push lower now. And again, as it follows, as long as price stays below 1.275, we should be able to anticipate further moves towards the downside. Again, this doesn't mean that price is definitely going to push lower, but ultimately my bias towards this pair is to take out 1.235. So price, you know, leading into this range bound here, we can see that, you know, as long as price is able to have that momentum to push lower, we could still see the continuations to push lower. So we can start to see from last week that we've had that broken break of structure, and that there is a strong momentum pushing lower. right here. So we've had that strength there, and then if we were to look on the high time frames, it has started to push lower. We can also see the EMA is slightly rejecting too. So whether that we start to see some form of rejection, then we will just have to wait. And then we'll just need to wait for, you know, some sort of confirmation with some bearish momentum and some strength to come in to take a sell. So that's all for this week. Again, we do have gold for tomorrow that we will talk upon. Again, if you are new to this channel, I do appreciate your time for watching. I do hope you consider subscribing to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of our future analysis videos. And again, I do appreciate your time for watching. So if you do have any other questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can reach out to me too. We do also have a trading group that you can join. That link is also in the description too. So thank you very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you all in our next video.